My name is Emily. I am 22 years old, and this is my story. It is the story of how my marriage was decided for me, not with love, not with dreams, but with a contract. My life changed with a signature on a piece of paper. And from that moment, I belonged to a man I had never met. In my world, marriage is not about romance. It is about duty, family ties, and business deals. And now I live in a home where there are two people, but no love, only silence, polite words, and the unspoken truth that we are strangers, forced to share the same life. I grew up behind walls. My parents homeschooled me, and I didn't have friends outside my family. I learned from books and from their stories. My father was strict but caring. He always told me what was right. My mother taught me how to be gentle, how to behave, and how to smile, even when I was sad. I kept my dreams hidden. I did not know what life held for me. For years, my world was made of chores, study, and the slow rhythm of small town life. My days passed quietly. I swept the porch, helped in the kitchen, and read fairy tales that made my heart wander. But each evening, I watched the sunset from my window and wondered what was behind the old trees. My parents said the world was not for me. They said I should be happy inside, with family, with safety. When my father told me I would marry Ethan, I didn't protest. I trusted my parents. I believed they knew what was best. The wedding was beautiful. The church full of smiles and gentle nods. Ethan did not say much. He held my hand and we stood together as everyone watched. He seemed distant, but I thought maybe love would come with time. After marriage, my life changed. The house was bigger than my old one, with shining floors and wide windows, but it felt empty. I tried to fill the rooms with flowers, with laughter, but the walls echoed in silence. I cooked every day, waiting for Ethan to come home. I set the table with care, hoping he would notice. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he just ate, thanked me politely, and went to his study. Our moments together were uncertain. We learned to live alongside each other, sharing meals and short conversations. Sometimes I tried to make jokes, hoping he would smile. Sometimes I would watch the rain as he read the newspaper. Small things became important: his cup of tea, the smell of bread, the way light fell on our faces in the morning. Ethan was kind in his own way. He asked about my day. He made sure I had everything I needed. But there was always a gap between us, as if a closed door stood in the middle of the room. I wondered why he did not share his thoughts. I hoped one day he would open up and maybe we would become closer. Sometimes Ethan would come home late. He would say he was tired and needed rest. I noticed the way he avoided certain topics, how he seemed worried but never explained why. The house felt colder and my heart began to ache with questions I asked myself if this was what forever would feel like. One rainy afternoon, as I was folding laundry, I found a letter in Ethan's coat pocket. My fingers trembled as I unfolded it. The words were gentle, written with care, but they spoke of a love I did not know. It was a story from someone named Julia. I did not understand at first. Who was Julia? Why did Ethan have her letter? For days I kept the secret in my heart. I did not ask him. I was afraid of the answer. Instead, I focused on my chores, tried to pretend nothing was wrong. But the truth grew heavier each day. It was like a shadow in the corner of our home, waiting for light. Gradually, Ethan grew more distant. He seemed troubled, sometimes lost in thought. One night, I gathered my courage and asked him about Julia. He sat quietly, then spoke slowly. He told me about his past, about how he had loved Julia for years. He said he was forced into marriage just like me. He apologized, saying life had not been fair to either of us. My heart broke. Everything made sense now. The cold silences, the lost eyes. We were two people trapped by a decision we never made. Our marriage was not a story with happy endings. It was a journey through pain, learning how to survive in a world that did not care about what we wanted. After the truth, things changed. Ethan and I tried to understand each other. We talked more. Sometimes we laughed about small things, sharing the little joys we could find. But love did not come. Instead, there was acceptance, a quiet peace, knowing we had both suffered, knowing we needed to move forward. The world is not always kind. Sometimes it tests us, pushing us to our limits. But even in pain, there can be hope. I learned that my life was not ruined forever. I learned that suffering can make us stronger. I learned how to forgive, how to grow, how to search for light in the darkest days. In the end, this is a story about survival. It is about how life can be unfair, how the world can hurt you, but also how you can choose to stand up again. My marriage was not what I dreamed. My days are not always happy, but I am learning to find my own happiness, to write new stories, to believe that tomorrow might be better than today. That is the lesson I will carry. Even when life is unfair, even when the world seems mean, you can still choose hope. You can still search for small joys, and you can still write your endings, even if it is not the story you first wanted.